evening, ladies and gentlemen of Appalachia, and a very special welcome to all you Enclave patriots watching from the shadows. You're tuned into The Late Shift, the only post-apocalyptic talk show where the chairs are pre-war, the coffee's irradiated, and the host questionably stable.
And yes, before the comments start rolling in, I know my face looks different again tonight. Blame the symptomatic. It updated itself last night, said something about experimental gene correction algorithms. Now I look 5 years younger and slightly more attractive. Which is nice, except now the mirror in the bathroom doesn't recognize me and keeps locking me out of my own room. But hey, that's the price of vanity in a post-nuclear hellscape, right? At least the symptomatic didn't explode this time. Progress! And speaking of progress, what a lineup we've got tonight. I haven't been this excited since someone finally patched out that bug where my pit boy thought I was a Brahmin for 3 weeks straight. Tonight, we dive into Appalachia's radioactive underbelly, starting with two icons who brought joy, laughter, and mildly toxic food to generations of survivors. That's right, they're full of fluff, covered in soot, and surprisingly agile for men in oversized mascot suits. Then we welcome a real hero from the wild frontier, a ranger from the far west, where the sun burns hotter, the towns run lawless, and the badge means everything. He's crossed deserts, dodged raiders, and kept order with nothing but grit, a revolver, and that unmistakable frontier justice. And finally, we sit down with a man known only as Harold, the legendary scabber from Sutton Outpost, who claims to have single-handedly traded a toaster for a working fusion core, twice. Either he's a genius or Sutton's got a barter economy run by feral mole rats. We'll find out. So grab your right away, put your feet up on that irradiated coffee table, and let's kick off another dangerously charming episode of The Late Shift. Let's get started. All right, folks, imagine this. An amusement park that survived the nuclear apocalypse and smells like melted sugar and radiation and somehow hasn't been condemned by the responders. That's right, it's time to talk Camden Park. Joining me tonight, two brave souls who work the front lines of Appalachia's favorite post-apocalyptic family fun zone. Stuffed into 200 pounds of sweaty foam, please welcome the actual employees inside the Mr. Fuzzy mascot suits. Let's just get right into it. What's it actually like surviving a 24-hour shift in Camden Park inside one of those things? Radiation storms, feral kids, deep-fried rat toads. Walk me through a normal day.
I've got 372 unspent tokens, a dislocated hip, and one working eye. Let's do this.
I haven't seen my real face in for years. They super glued the head on for brand consistency.
So Camden Park, let's talk about it. Daily quests, hot dogs, horrifying children. Tell our viewers what to expect when they step foot inside your radioactive carnival.
Well, every single day you can stop by and run some of the same events. There's Lucky Mucker, clean up after the tourists like some kind of pre-war janitor simulator.
Then it's straight to Dross Toss, chucking radioactive junk into a barrel with bare hands and a smile. If the rads don't get you, the fumes will.
And, of course, pick up the prizes. That's where you run around trying to collect old, busted toys like some kind of mutant Easter bunny.
And you do all that for what exactly? Life-changing loot? A gold bar? A minigun?
Tokens. You get Mr. Fuzzy tokens, which you can redeem for an ancient plastic toy or pieces of this godforsaken suit.
If you grind long enough, you can earn the head that smells like Brahmin feet and broken dreams.
Sounds magical. What kind of junk do you find lying around Camden Park?
Rotten hot dog trays, warped plastic spoons, glowing cotton candy, fried Malay rat on a stick. Everything smells like burnt sugar and regret.
There's a storage closet full of spoiled funnel cake better from before the bombs dropped.
What's the actual scariest thing you've seen in Camden Park?
There's a guy who's been playing Lucky Mucker for 3 years. He doesn't even work there. He just keeps mopping.
Also, the roller coaster still moves. We don't know how. Nobody fixed it. Nobody rides it. It just creaks at night.
And yet the responders never shut the place down.
They tried. The Brotherhood showed up once, took one look at the cotton candy machine, and left in silence.
Well, I'll say this. Camden Park may not be the safest place in the wasteland, but it might be the weirdest. And that's saying something, coming from someone who once interviewed a Mirrorlurk with stage fright.
I envy the Mirrorlurk.
Give a big thanks to our brave, sticky, slightly irradiated guests. They risk their lives every day for the great post-war American dream. Free tokens, fake smiles, and a moldy mascot suit. Give it up for the Camden Park Mr. Fuzzies. Our next guest has traveled farther than any sane person should without a vertibird. He's crossed deserts, mountains, super mutant ambushes, and more than a few questionable pit stops just to sit under our warm studio lights. Please welcome a genuine California Ranger.
Thanks for having me. Also, your air smells like trees. That's weird.
Yeah, Appalachia does that. It confuses travelers who are used to sand, blood, and the sound of geckos eating their own young.
I've seen Deathclaws give up trying to walk across the desert. You have moss. You have rivers. That's not a wasteland, that's cheating.
Tell me what inspired a ranger from the other side of America to come all the way out here.
Rumors. Stories about green fields, automated vaults, and voice of man calling himself President Eden. Thought I'd take a look. See if the East Coast really is as broken as they say.
And what is your verdict?
You people have working jukeboxes and junkyards. I fought a gang over half a tire outside Barstow last month.
Well, we do love our creature comforts. And by creature, I mean mutated frogs the size of refrigerators.
I saw one of those. It hissed at me. I hissed back. We agreed to part ways.
Let's talk about the journey. What does it take to cross the wasteland these days?
7 water flasks, 3 rifles, and a total disregard for common sense. Passed through the Midwest, got mugged by a traveling band of Elvis impersonators outside St. Louis. Don't ask.
Elvis impersonators. That actually checks out.
Then I hit the Appalachian border and thought I'd hallucinated. Trees, birds, Brahmin that don't explode when you look at them. And a robot DJ who plays swing music like it's still 2077.
Welcome to Appalachia, where the trees whisper, the frogs scream, and the weird moves in and pays rent.
Also, what's with the cults? I passed 5. One worshipped a giant moth. Another worshipped soup.
Ah, the Mothman and the Brothman. common mistake.
Never saw that kind of madness in the desert. Say what you will about the raiders, at least they didn't set up soup altars.
So what's next for you? You're gonna put down roots. Maybe build a camp near the White Spring.
Tempting. I haven't seen grass in 15 years. But rangers don't retire. We just get quieter and better armed.
Well, if you ever need a job, we've got plenty of raid roaches and no janitor. Just saying.
I'll take it under advisement, partner.
Ladies and gentlemen, a true veteran of the wasteland, here to remind us that not all deserts are empty, and not all rangers wear stars. Big hand for our guest. And now, folks, to close tonight's broadcast, we turn our eyes to the everyday heroes of post-war rebuilding, the settlers. These brave men and women are hammering together communities with rusted nails, duct tape, and a dream. Tonight, we've invited a man from a small outpost near Sutton, a town nestled in the forest region, that's been doing its best to keep hope alive with Brahmin-powered water systems, makeshift farms, and enough red roach stew to keep you guessing what's meat and what's mystery. Please welcome Harold from Sutton Outpost.
Another settlement needs your help.
Okay, this is definitely not Harold. Someone check the green room. I think Harold got intercepted by bureaucracy.
There's a group of raiders harassing the settlers near Sutton. They're counting on us. Let me mark it on your map.
This is a talk show, not a mission board, sir.
We need someone like you out there. You've got the grit, the fire. I can see it.
All I've got is a studio desk, a cheap suit, and half a pot of cold coffee. You want firepower? Try the vending machine in the lobby.
They need defenses. A few turrets, maybe a water purifier, and some walls made of shipping crates. You build that, they'll have hope again. Let me mark it on your map.
This was going to be a heartwarming piece about Harold and his Brahmin-powered well, not a live recruitment ambush.
Hope never rests. Not when people need us. You out there watching at home. I've marked the location. They're waiting for you.
I swear if one more marker shows up on my Pip-Boy, I'm tossing it in a Deathclaw nest.
We will rebuild this world, one settlement at a... There's another settlement. They need you.
Well, that'll teach you to walk into a set without a proper clearance. Well, folks, that's all the chaos we could cram into one broadcast without violating any Vault-Tec safety protocols. We've laughed with irradiated mascots, learned how to carry hot dogs and tetanus in the same pocket, and watched a ranger do what he does best. And then, Preston Garvey. No comments on that. May his next respawn be at a safe distance from my map marker. Big thanks to our Camden Park guests. And remember, don't eat anything from that park unless it's glowing less than you are. Also a shout out to the California Ranger. You made it across the wasteland just to get insulted by Appalachian humidity and funnel cake radiation. You're braver than half the Brotherhood. And to whoever booked Preston Garvey, I am not mad. I am just disappointed. And got too many markers on my map now. Join us next week. Same time, same studio here at Camp Evans. Until then, keep your barrels clean, your Pip-Boys charged, and remember, if someone in a hat approaches you and says the words marked it on your map, just start running. I'm Lincon Monroe, and this has been The Late Shift, the only show where the guests are unstable, and the host is statistically more likely to be replaced by a sentry bot. Good night, Appalachia, and as always, for the Enclave and for America,